your hormone problems may not be directly due to your endocrine system. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. What does that mean? Your hormone problems may not be due to a primary hormone dysfunction or to an endocrine disruption. Your hormone problems could be being caused by systems outside what you would consider the hormone system directly. What am I saying? Today I worked with a female patient that has menstrual cycles that are known to be 28 days on point each month, every month. Well, recently she's been having some dysfunction there where the cycles have been late, and she doesn't have any symptoms of hormonal dysfunction other than the cycles being late. So we decided to look under the hood and look for causes other than just straight hormonal imbalance that could be causing these cycles to be off. And so that's what we're going to dive into today. Other causes of hormonal dysfunction besides frank overproduction or underproduction. So in this case, this patient has a history of Crohn's disease. This patient has indicators on recent blood work that there may be GI dysbiosis or overgrowth of certain microbes like parasites. So we looked deeper into that, and here's what we found. We found that there are multiple contributors to her hormonal dysfunction outside of the hormone system. So let's talk about estrogen. Estrogen in a female is going to be produced by the ovaries, by the adrenal glands, and by fat cells. So estrogen has its life cycle, and then it's going to be detoxified in the liver. Well, our sex hormones are fat-based or have a steroid cholesterol backbone. Do you remember high school science class when you tried to mix olive oil and water? What happened? They don't mix, right? One sits on top of the other. Fat and water don't mix. So in order to detoxify hormones or clear them from our system, we have to take them from fat soluble to water soluble before we can get rid of them in the urine, feces, or sweat. That's done in the liver. So here's our liver, and our estrogen is going to go through phase 1, biotransformation or detoxification, and become an intermediate. And then if all goes well, it's going to go through phase 2, biotransformation or detox, and then be water soluble. And when it's water soluble, it can then leave our body through urine, feces, and or sweat. Well, when we go from fat soluble here to an intermediate, what we need to know is that these hormonal intermediates can be more active and more toxic than high estrogen by itself. So we don't want to leave them here long. We want to get them into phase 2 and then out of the body. Well, phase 1 requires a process in the liver called hydroxylation. You don't have to remember that. Phase 2 requires methylation. And you do need to remember that because it's relevant to this case, and it's also sexy right now in the alternative medicine world because of the importance of the MTHFR gene SNPs and the COMT gene SNPs and the 23andMe testing and that sort of thing. So methylation is necessary in phase 2 in order to take these potentially toxic intermediates and get them out of the body. So relevant to this patient, her phase 1 is okay. She's got intermediates, but her phase 2 we know from blood work is poor because her homocysteine is a 26. That's almost 4 times abnormal. And she's got a history of methylation issues, and what happened is she fell off taking care of those, so the homocysteine built up, and now we have to work to optimize her methylation again. But in the meantime, if she's not methylating properly, we can have a bottleneck or traffic jam here where the intermediates aren't leaving the body, and there's potential there for toxins to build up or second pass effects. Also, the testing in this person showed that in the gut there is dysbiosis. there are bacteria present that produce what's called beta-glucuronidase. And beta-glucuronidase is an enzyme that will take these intermediates and recycle them, or cause what's called a second pass effect through the liver. So what that means is where your body thought you took your estrogen and got rid of it, it's now converting that back into the estrogen. So you have a secondary exposure, and this can result in symptoms of too much estrogen or estrogen dominance, even though the person is not making too much estrogen. So this is a cause of hormonal dysfunction outside the main hormonal system, or a gut driver of hormonal dysfunction, a gut driver of potential estrogen dominance, a gut driver of potential menstrual cycle issues or dysmenorrhea. So in this person, we can see that there's a gut contributor to hormonal issues, and we also have a liver/methylation contributor to hormonal issues because of the poor methylation not allowing her to clear the hormones, leaves more substrate here that can be toxic, can be recycled, and create estrogen dominance type symptoms, even in the absence of her overproducing estrogen. So this, I hope, is a primer for you to understand that there can be a lot more going on under the hood than a birth control pill can regulate. So if you're just seeing a conventional OBGYN or a conventional GP who says, well, you're having menstrual irregularities, let's just put you on a birth control pill and regulate it, that birth control pill may not help you because it's doing nothing about the gut dysbiosis. It's doing nothing about the methylation issues. So to address the cause, you must first find the cause, and you'll never find the cause if you don't look for the cause or know how to look for the cause. So that's where functional medicine Charlotte and I come in as the detective to look deeper and go below the surface and say, hey, there may be a cause to your hormonal irregularities outside of the hormone system. Maybe it's gut, maybe it's liver, maybe there's blood sugar issues, maybe you have systemic inflammation driving this. So this is functional medicine, this is 21st century healthcare.